The student wants to describe Adnan's December from My Window, I guess that's a play or a book or something, to an audience familiar with leporellos, whatever that is, okay? So the audience already knows about leporellos. We don't need an answer that describes them. So Adnan was a Lebanese-American poet and artist for making many leporellos. A leporello is an artist book that is folded accordion style. So this we don't really need, okay? They're already familiar with that. When the book is expanded, the artist's work is revealed and its zigzag shape helps it stand on its own. Her leporello, December from My Window, now we're describing this particular leporello, features a panoramic landscape. It is painted using ink and watercolor. So these two are the description of her leporello, okay? So, all right, featuring a panoramic landscape, that's part of it. The work is done by is one of Adnan's many leporellos, which are here we're describing the leporellos and what it is. We don't need to do that. Audience is already familiar. When expanded, Adnan's 93 leporello, December from My Window, reveals a panoramic landscape, painted in ink and watercolor. Those are the two descriptions of it, and we don't get into detail of what a leporello is because the audience is already familiar. B is going to be our answer. We'll just check C and D. Known for making many other accordion-style folded books. No, here we're describing what a leporello is. We don't need to do that. A leporello, such as Adnan's December from My Window, is folded accordion style. Well, again, we're kind of describing what a leporello is. And due to its zigzag shape, it is able to stand on it. No, it doesn't using the word leporello, but it's still describing what it is. So B is the best answer. The student wants to emphasize a difference between the Mexicali biennial and traditional biennials. So what's the difference between Mexicali and other biennials, which are, I guess, every 2-year celebrations, right? Okay. So in the art world, the term biennial traditionally refers to an art exhibit that takes place every 2 years in a single location, okay? Such biennials are held in New York, Berlin, and Venice. Okay, nothing here about Mexico or Cali or anything. In 2006, artists Gomez and Hernandez founded the unconventional Mexicali Biennial. So this is different. It's unconventional. How? Why? Let's figure it out. The Mexicali Biennial hosts exhibitions in different venues on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border. So this is different. It's not in just one city. It's across cities, even across country lines. The Mexicali Biennial has taken place on an uneven schedule with exhibitions in 06, 09, 13, 18. So it's not really a biennial, right? It's actually every few years. So they call it a biennial, technically not a biennial though. So those are the differences. It takes place in multiple locations, not just one city, and it takes place on an odd, not every 2-year exactly schedule. Close, but not exact. So we want to see those, something like that in the answers, okay? We probably are looking for a contrasting transition word to set us up, like a but or whereas. So I don't know, let's take a look. In 2006, artist Gomez Hernandez founded the Mexicali Biennial, which has taken place. That's not showing a difference. One thing I need both things. I need the typical biennial and compare it to this new Mexicali Biennial in my answer. Unlike traditional biennials, okay, we're referring to the traditional ones, the Mexicali hosts exhibits in different venues on an uneven schedule. Those are the two key differences. That's your answer. I have two things in there. I'm making a comparison with contrasting transition, and I have the two key differences. Definitely B is the answer. Let's check C and D. The term biennial refers to art exhibition every 2 years. That's just background. Biennial exhibitions have been in New York, Berlin, but also on both sides. That just says there are two types. It's not showing us the differences in the two types. B is the answer. The student wants to emphasize how long the museum has existed. Okay, so some museums have been around for a long time. The Pueblo of Zuni is located 150 miles west of Albuquerque, New Mexico. It is the traditional home of the Zuni people. The Zuni Museum and Heritage Center was established by tribe members back in 92. So it's kind of been around since 92. That's kind of what we want to know. Its mission is stated on its website. It's a tribal museum and heritage center for the Zuni people. And by the Zuni people, we work to provide learning experiences that emphasize essentially Zuni ways of knowing, as well as exploring modern concepts of knowledge and the transfer of knowledge. So this is the one that talks about how long it's been around, since 92, so about 30 years at this point, right? So the Pueblo Zuni is home to the Ashu. Okay, nothing about time. The Heritage Center has served since 92. That's it. That's emphasizing the time or how long it's been around. According to this website, the Heritage Center, founded in the 90s, works to no, that's emphasizing what it does. D, knowledge has been the central theme, so that's emphasizing what's important and what it does. B is the only one that emphasizes how long. B is the answer. Okay, the student wants to specify the reason the Pleiades appearance changed. So we want to specify the reason for the change. Ancient Native American and Australian Aboriginal cultures describe the Pleiades star cluster as having 7 stars. It was referred to as the Seven Sisters in the mythology of Greece. Today, the cluster appears to have only 6 stars. 2 of the stars have moved so close together they now appear as one. So what's the reason for the change? 2 now look like 1. They're kind of overlapping. So that's what we need to find in the answer. Ancient Native American would describe Pleiades as Greek or 7 stars. That's just background. Although once referred to as the Seven Sisters, they only appeared at, that doesn't tell us why. There's no why in there. It's just that they changed, not why they changed. C, in the time since culture described it has 7 stars, 2 of the cluster stars have moved so close together. That's the reason right there. It's the same reason in the text. C is your answer. Let's just check D. The Pleiades has 7 stars, but 2 are so close together that they appear to be a single star. Ooh, hold on. Let's check C versus D. We might have a little competition here. In the time since ancient cultures described the Pleiades as having 7 stars, in the time since ancient, that time, 2 of the cluster stars have moved so close together that they now appear as one. Okay. He's specifying the reason the Pleiades appearance has changed. That is the reason. Okay, let me check D. The Pleiades has 7 stars. Okay, that's a background. That's not a reason. But 2 are so close together that, okay, there's no change here, actually. They're so close together that they appear as a single star. But that doesn't indicate any change. It doesn't say at an old time they appeared as 7, now they appear as 6. The lack of change in D makes it wrong. C is the correct answer. The student wants to introduce Samuel Selvon and his novel, The Lonely Londoners, to a new audience. Okay, this is a new audience, basically unfamiliar. Doesn't say so, but that's what it is. They're unfamiliar with this play or its author. Okay, and the student wants to introduce it. So Samuel Selvon was a Trinidadian author. Lonely Londoner is one of his most celebrated novels. Selvon published the novel in 1956. It is about a group of men who emigrate from the Caribbean to Great Britain after World War II. Some of the Lonely Londoner's characters also appear in Selvon's later novels. So we want to include something about he's Trinidadian and and that this is one of his celebrated novels. We want to give a little background on the novel because we're introducing it. So it was in 1956, what it was about. That probably has to be in there. So let's take a look. In 1956, Trinidad author. So we're getting some background on the author, when it was published. It was one of his celebrated novels. We're introducing something about it, which is about a group of men who emigrate from the Caribbean to Great Britain and what it's about. This looks pretty darn good. This is helping explain to someone who's new audience, doesn't know the author, doesn't know the work, and it introduces both the work and something about the author. So I think A is going to be correct, but let's check B, C, and D. Samuel Selvon wrote the novel, some other novel. No, that's not answering the question. The Lonely Londoner, a celebrated novel that was published in 1956, depicts post-World War II Caribbean migration from the perspective of a Trinidadian author. What do we think about this one? We do introduce Lonely Londoners. It's a celebrated novel published in 1956. So we have we have the title, we have some information about it. and what it's about. And we are the perspective of a Trinidadian author. That's something about the author. So if it's a Trinidadian author, also published one of his most celebrated novels. Lonely Londoners' celebrated novel that was published in 1956. These first parts are kind of saying the same thing in A and C, which is about a group of men who emigrated the Caribbean to Great Britain. Let's read the actual. It is about a group of men who emigrate from the Caribbean to Great Britain after World War II. That's correct, right? Depicts post-World War II. Post is after. Caribbean migration from their perspective. Caribbean migration to where? This says nothing about to Great Britain. So this is missing no UK. So it's not as good or detailed description of the novel. Caribbean migration to the US, right? To Florida, it doesn't really say. It doesn't really say the UK. So that's, I think, not right. I think A is still the better answer. D, some of the characters who appear in Samuel Sullivan's Moses Ascending also, yeah, that's not answering the question. It's not introducing Lonely Londoners to an unfamiliar audience. A is the best answer. C is not a bad answer. It's pretty close, but it's missing some of the basic details. The student wants to emphasize a similarity between the two sea turtles. Okay. 7 species of sea turtle exist today. I didn't know that. 5 sea turtle species can be found in the Atlantic Ocean. One of those species is the Kemp's Ridley sea turtle. Its scientific name is such and such, Kempi. Another of these species is the olive Ridley sea turtle. Its scientific name is Olivacea. Okay, so we want a similarity. How are they the same? They're both in the Atlantic Ocean, right? One of which is Ridley's. The other is olive Ridley's. They're both Ridley sea turtles, and they're both in the Atlantic Ocean. So those seem to be the same information. Among the 7 turtles is the olive Ridley sea turtle, which can be found. Now that I need to have both of them. If I'm going to do a similarity, I need to mention both turtles. This only mentions one. B, the Kemp's Ridley sea turtle is referred to as this, while the other is while is contrasting, and these are different names. That's not the right answer. That's a difference. Both. We have the word both. That's a key. This is going to be the answer. The Kemp's Ridley sea turtle and the olive turtle can be found in the Atlantic Ocean, and that's correct. That's true. Notice how that word both is always, almost always, in the answers for similarity questions. The Kemp's Ridley sea turtle and the olive sea turtle are different. We don't care about the differences. We want similarities. C is the answer. The student wants to present LIGO's aim and methodology. So we want purpose and methodology of LIGO, whatever that is. Okay. So gravitational waves are powerful ripples that originate in deep space and eventually pass through Earth. The Laser Transfer Gravitational Wave Observatory, so LIGO is something that, I guess, tracks and measures gravitational waves. Okay. It's a physics study that began in 2002. LIGO's goal is to detect gravitational waves. Okay. That's its purpose. LIGO uses a pair of massive gravitational wave detectors called interferometers that are thousands of miles apart. That's the method. That's how it works. In 2015, for the first time in history, it detected a gravitational wave passing through Earth. So I want these 2 bits of information. I want the purpose and I want the how, which are these. So in 2015, LIGO's massive interferometer took a power ripple. That's not the purpose or the method. Through the physics study LIGO began in 2002, its massive interferometers didn't detect a gravitational wave. I mean, that might be true, but it doesn't say too much about purpose there. It does say a little bit about method. And it's not wrong. So I should probably maybe question mark it, not exit, but that's not really it. I think we're going to find a better answer. To achieve its aims, LIGO uses a pair of massive interferometers that are thousands of miles apart. That is method. But the only problem is here, it says to achieve its aims, but there's no aim actually given in this answer. That's wrong. D, a physics study designed to detect and analyze gravitational waves. That's my aim right there. And that's what LIGO is. It uses a pair of interferometers. That's the method right there. D is the answer. I knew there'd be a better answer. D is it.